So kindly let us know how you heard about Accodex and how you started out. What are your hobbies? Who like what are the names of your children? Like future. I know that you've got a son, but there's another one coming its way. So let us know and like your hobbies and any special
Awesome.
things that interest you.
Well, so I first found out about a codex actually through um, a post on LinkedIn by Jeff Maddox, I guess one of the original U.S. partners, talking about his experience working with a codex. At the time, I had started my own practice completely on my own, and it had been a couple of months in. And of course, in the ton of research that you're constantly doing in the beginning on everything and how I'm actually going to make this work, came across a post about a codex. And so went to the website and was pretty instantly impressed with all the bells and whistles that were the branding and the website. And I thought, if this is a real deal, then why haven't I heard of them? And then realized it was in Australia. And so that was like, okay, well, then I have to inquire and see what this is all about. Um, and I think it was January 2017. So this year when I came on board with the Codex. And bit about me, I have a son named Arthur, a wife named Katie. I have, as of the time of this interview, I'm going to have another son whose name is Harvey, and he should be here in somewhere around 4 weeks or so. So we're just getting ready for that. And we live in a town called Florence, Alabama. It's a small college town, and we just moved here at the end of. It's been about a year ago. We moved here from Nashville after having been there for a number of years. And what I like to do hobby-wise, have always been really into music ever since I was young. Um, Play guitar. I love playing live. I love all things music. And I enjoy nice scotch, nice wine, nice cigars, and love the outdoors. Enjoy camping, love being on the water, and just anything outside.
Cool, and such an exciting time for you and Katie as well in the upcoming baby. You have got a very inspiring story, Jared, of how you started as a part-time a codex, full-time, and then back to part-time. Share with us your story and give us some inspiration
Okay, my story.
of.
So really, when I joined with the Codex, I at that time was only a couple of months into having been on my own full time. So leading up to my decision to start my own accounting practice, I had been with a large healthcare company as an employee for a number of years, working in internal audit, working in financial reporting. I left there to go to with a tech startup that ended, or I guess my time there ended before I thought it would, and so there was a career juncture decision where, having never been on my own, always been in full time employment my whole career. I decided to go ahead and take that step. I'd already kind of tasted the startup culture and the inspiration and the opportunity. And so after kind of going out on my own, very quickly realized I thought I had a lot to offer clients, and I think I did and do, but at the time, just had no idea how to get from A to B in terms of getting to where I could explain and communicate with potential clients, even getting in front of the right, leads, and how to actually win clients and actually make some revenue. And so I had a ton to learn, and a few months in, I still was just doing a ton of networking and had a lot of people kind of pat me on the back and saying, "That's great that you're doing that. You know, we need, we need good accountants. We need accountants from the, more millennial generation. So I'm glad you're doing it." But that never turned into, ongoing work. And so, um, joining up with Accodex, I knew that for me, I needed something to change, and I felt like I was alone, kind of on an island where I um, I knew that I had the support of like my network of the business community and even other CPAs, but I really had no one I could go to and talk about the way that I was doing things, cloud-based accounting, where in my local geography and even up into Nashville, the Xero platform is still very much dwarfed in popularity by QuickBooks, and even just cloud-based applications that are most popularly used right now are so just still so early stage in people's minds here. At least that's my experience. And so being able to get some mentorship and inspiration from even other CPAs, there was really none to be had to in terms of building a practice and a client base the way that I wanted to and servicing them the way I wanted to. And Accodex for me was very quickly I realized that it was a group of people that I knew we had aligned strategy on how to go about building an accounting practice. But Accodex has years down the road beyond me, especially the leaders who started Accodex based on their experiences. So it's been a challenging ride to go from. I had no clients coming in the door, had no capital savings of any kind, like cash to support me, and even for personally for my family, I have been the kind of the primary earner, and so I didn't even have really any other income streams personally to help with cash flow. So the challenge has been very real, and I just decided, really the only option I had was to dive all in. And for the past 8 months or so, there's been plenty of times where I've tried to pick up some side work. I've done just random things. I've cut lawns. Some other random things I've done. I can't even remember. And more recently, I did actually shift to kind of taking a step back to work part-time at a brewery here in town. So I was working nights at the brewery, and more recently was finally able to build business enough to cut that job and replace it with revenue. So I could probably ramble on and on about my story given free reign, but in general, I have gone from nothing to something, gone from not really being able to pay the bills personally, much less for the business, but to covering expenditures and actually looking at how to grow. And there's no way that I could have done that completely on my own on the island that I started out on.
Well, you have actually been such a valuable member of our team, Jarrod, and we would like to thank you, for your hard work and your resilience, and just pushing through, because we understand that you're just like what you mentioned earlier, you're a dad, and it's actually hard when you're the sole income earner in the family, and you just want to make ends meet. But at what point did you decide when you said to yourself, you know what, it's time to go full time? When was it, and what are the pros and cons of being a full time and a part time Accodex partner?
For me, I think that the decision is kind of like, I think of it as a daily decision, kind of like in marriage, right? You have to, in my opinion, a foundation of marriage is waking up every day and still choosing, like you have to choose to remain married and everything that comes with that. And I kind of think that about when you are in any kind of business for yourself. You have to wake up every day and choose, like, am I going to do this for real or am I not? And for me, even, you can make a choice and dive in, and then when things happen, sometimes you have to take a step back, and sometimes it's very valid. You hit challenges, you hit roadblocks, you need some supplemental income. That takes time to make. You have to give time to that, but ultimately, over the past months, I keep coming back to, for me, consistency and focus is a very strong, that makes the difference in efforts, right? And I've been one that through my whole career, I've been quick to divert my attention for something, whether it's a different job, a different role in the same company, a different strategy or situation. And that's something that I've had the time and time again since I've been doing this, just like remind myself and say, you got to keep going with this, and regardless of what's going on, take toll a little bit of the accomplishments you've made so far, and keep doing it. And so that's, I guess, one thing about the whole full-time part-time thing is, I think other people, it's kind of an ongoing decision, because in 2017, given the skill sets we have and the opportunities we have, you can always choose to change things. You can choose to go part-time, full-time. You can take a job. You can not. But for me, every time that I take my foot off the gas, so to speak, and back off, out of fear or out of just distraction, even with something else, everything around me, begins to kind of crowd in more so, because I'm trying to do a lot of different things. The times when I really focus and kind of get a re-inspiration, and just like really give it my all, that's when things seem to happen, right? And that sounds super elementary, about giving 110% and all that stuff, but what I would say to people who are weighing pros and cons about full-time, part-time is that there's so many hours in a day, and everyone has a certain level of tolerance for, whether it be how much can you focus on something for so long, or physically, how long can you, work without stopping, or in a given day with your given responsibilities, how much time can you dedicate to something. It's different for everyone, but the return on your efforts is there's a drastic difference in that when you were able to put your full-time self in, versus not. It makes a difference, and it's very intangible in some ways. I mean, you can look at metrics, about time spent, and time spent doing what, and what happens from that. But I think if there's anything for me that's been true, it's been a integrity of your mind, integrity of your efforts, and just saying, like, I'm going to just do this, and not try and hold on to a bunch of different things as I'm doing it, not try and take everything else along for the ride, but just dive in and do it. It's made a difference.
Yep, that's right. And like Chris would always say that you always get out what you put in. So the more that you actually spend more time in the business, the more that you get more out of it as well. So totally agree with you on that. So Jared, let's talk about your business. As an Accodex partner, what services do you offer and how did you grow your business? And you've actually mentioned earlier, how Accodex has mentored you, and you said that, like you couldn't have done everything without, the help of Accodex. But like, can you also share with us like how Accodex has actually helped you in the more practical ways?
Sure. So services wise, I bucket my services into compliance, which are mostly all things tax, bookkeeping, accounting, management, which should be very much whether it's actually data entry and recording in clients' books, or whether it's review and adjustment and advisement on those, and then the third being advisory level service, consulting, which for me, some of the examples of that for me have been working with companies to understand their current financial model, understand and looking towards a new financial model, maybe how to get there, gap assessment type services, and then just really other tailored projects, kind of that, which it's I will say kind of your question about what has Accodex done for me specifically related to services is kind of help be a sounding board and an inspiration of doing those more advisory level services. So it's like advisory and consulting is like the sexy term, right, for accountants right now. It's like, it's the higher earning, you can charge more, the work is more fun, it's less data entry and more holistic thinking, and higher value. Like these are the words that we see right now, and it's true, and we all want to do that, but regardless, if you can bring a ton of good experiences from your accounting career and not be able just to dive into doing advisory work. I don't believe there's a formula for everybody for that, and Accodex has helped frame that for me. I mean, the trainings and the even just in partner meetings, hearing about other partners and kind of engagements they have, asking questions about that helps kind of give you as a partner examples of this is advisory work I could do, and I have these clients. I already see their data, I already see all this because I do their books or whatever, and then it kind of helps you understand more about what other services you can offer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. How did you actually grow your business? Because I know that a lot of our new partners would like to hear about that.
Okay, growing business. For me, I think there's two sides to it. There's a client count, right, where it's like I have 2 clients, I want more clients, and those are kind of that new, there's a new client count, and then I think there's like a dollar value that you assign to that, and you obviously want to move towards those new clients being a higher dollar value, so that grows your business financially much quicker than it would if you had double that count in clients at a lower dollar value. So for me, and I think it's probably common for a lot of people, you start with a lot of lower dollar value clients. That would be compliance clients. I mean, for me, that's literally 2017 was my first tax preparation season completely on my own, and so almost, I went from no clients to, well, I have a lot of one-off kind of clients because I'm doing tax returns for people, personal tax returns. That turns into, the clients who have businesses or, rental property, something other than your kind of basic W-2 type clients. that those can turn into ongoing compliance clients because they have things to worry about throughout the year, um, and that can then grow into bookkeeping clients. And that's how a lot of that happened for me, was just um, first service offering being a lot of effort up front, and then not a lot of money, and then moving in towards, hey, like growing the service for the particular clients. I would say also with that, referrals, anyone will tell you, I think referrals end up becoming they're the most organic, or they're the most organic high value lead source, because the more clients that you have good relationships with, they refer their friends or their network to you, and you start getting more qualified leads that way. So how my business has grown, it's been slow and a bit unpredictable at first, and then a few referrals for some higher value services turned into more referrals, and so that's been one of the biggest things.
How many hours do you spend in a week?
How many hours in a week? So I should probably know exactly how many hours a week I spend. I don't, and I would say that for me, even when I was working at a brewery part time, I was spending I would say at a minimum 40 hours a week on my business. And I think most people will agree, especially in this stage of your practice that I'm in, it's kind of hard to turn it off, because you're so concerned about just getting, those leads that you have, like, you really want to convert them. You really want to make the clients that you have happy. So you're just, putting everything into being on top of servicing them. Some weeks I can be working way more hours than I would prefer to. So it varies, but I would say to people to new partners or potential partners who are like trying to kind of find a happy, like, what's the right number in terms of hours a week? It varies by person, right? How much do you want to work? How much, and what else are you trying to do with your time in a given week?
Cool. So, Jarrod, tell us about the risks you had to take and the biggest challenges that you've encountered in growing your business.
Risks and challenges. I think that, an obvious risk is at the very basic root. I'm spending all my time trying to get business, and every hour I do that, I'm not getting instant cash flow, whereas I could do that somewhere else, right? So it's like a job where you have a salary or something is less risky than not. That's a given. But more specifically, I think there's a risk. There's a few main risks I've had, right? Like, there's risk to personal health, personal relationships, right? When you start really digging into something, you can very easily lose sight of other things in your life. That's a constant challenge, right? I have a family. That's like where I want to be spending most of my time and thought and enjoyment. But I have to remember that as I'm deciding what to do with my time every day and every week. I would say creativity. There's a risk to, this goes along with personal stuff, but creativity. If you have creative outlets or hobbies, I haven't played music in like a year, and I miss it. So, that's something I said last year. Well, I guess it was early this year. I was like, I've got to find a way to start playing again, and I haven't yet. But that's like a goal of mine to find that balance again. And yeah, I would just say that paired with feeling more inspired in what I'm doing for work every day than I ever have in my career, that is a pro. And then a challenge with that would be not letting it overtake you, right?
Cool. Jared, what you've actually gone through in the past year has been amazing to watch, and we are continuously inspired by your story and how you're growing. But I would just like to ask, in closing, what are the three pieces of advice that you would like to give, our new partners, even, the partners who have actually been journeying with us at Accodex as well, in like how did you actually get to where you are, and what's like your secret recipe, if there's a secret recipe?
Secret recipe. Um, so one thing I would say, and I probably mentioned it earlier, was just consistency in your efforts. It's that, like I said, I think there's so many intangible things with every action that you do when you are doing what we're trying to do here. Every interaction you have in the coffee shop, at the bar, whatever it may be, like what that does for your pipeline and what that does for building your brand and your business. Not that you should always feel like you're in work mode, but I think that when you get down or when you're met with challenges, you have to remind yourself that stay steady on the course, and that's going to be the way that things happen, and it's not going to be flipping from side to side. You have to be able to vent. You have to have close, trusted people that you can air out your concerns to and everything. That's one of the great things about having a relationship with people at Accodex is if I can't go to my favorite bar and just had a terrible day and just be getting drunk and talking about how I've made the biggest mistake of my life and I'm failing. Probably shouldn't do that because potential clients and because whatever else, reputation, right? But you got to have people that you can do that with. And so that would definitely be something, kind of know the people in your life that you can have the right kind of supportive conversations with. And for me, I mean, like you said, that kind of secret recipe of success or whatever, most people agree. I don't think there is one, because everyone is different, but I have found, and this is one of the reasons that I even decided to do this, is I want to do something where I can be the person that I am, whether I'm working or whether I'm not. And so there's a bit of I've always in my career had some of the hardest times when I feel like I'm a different person at work than I am at home. And I want to bring to all my business interactions the real me. To me, I think that it goes a long way with people, with potential clients, with other partners that you work with. And that I think applies to everybody, because everyone is unique, but everyone just wants people to be themselves and be real and transparent and comfortable with who they are. And if you bring that to your business interactions and you bring that to your approach, whether it's potential client meeting or servicing a client that you have, I think that goes a really long way. And that's the secret recipe, I think, is to be who you are.
Cool. Thank you so much, Jared, for your time, and thank you so much for staying true to who you are. We are so excited to see more great things from you, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.